Okay, we'll call the meeting in order. And minutes of the previous meeting. Everybody get through them? And
Yeah.
Yes.
Look fine.
any problem? All right.
I'll move to accept.
All right.
I'll second.
Move to accept, second. And all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. No, carried. All righty. And we'll go bills and accounts.
Look okay, I
They
guess.
looked good, yeah.
No.
Okay.
They're too high.
Yeah. You want to move or I'll
We
move?
get, who wants to move?
Make a move.
All right.
I'll second.
Move that- Dennis will second, that we
Pay the bills?
pay the bills. And all in favor?
Aye.
All righty, opposed? Okay. Carried. Hollow intake improvement.
Really quickly, all the shop drawings have finally been approved. So everything that should be being manufactured, all the grates and the railings. And we expect that'll probably take, the catwalk was the last thing that had to be approved and manufactured. Everything else has already been approved. That was approved earlier this week, so we're looking at March, April timeframe for to have the whole thing installed and completed. Things are looking, no surprises, still on track with, to be under budget, and we're doing okay. We're still, the intake is still open and we're still taking on water. We're only down a foot, so we're doing good.
Unusual for this time of the year.
It's kind of heartening because we have no snow melt so far.
Yeah, right.
So,
Right.
we're in a good place considering that we have no snow melt.
Well,
But most of our, where we draw from is up out of Greene County too, right?
Yeah, there might be a little bit more up there than there is here, but certainly not a lot.
They meant snow,
That's true, it has to melt, you're absolutely
has
right.
to melt.
You're right.
And obviously the snowpack isn't
Right.
there that we would normally,
No.
from the last couple of years, but
And the winter, I might want to add, is not over.
yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. Believe it or not.
I know, and that's okay.
That's okay.
Yeah.
So far, so good.
Okay. That's Hollow intake. That's,
So we just did that.
we just did that. Right?
Yep.
And now we're gonna do phase 1, filter renovation project.
Right, as everyone knows, we signed that contract. Contractors, that's for the filters emptied. All the demolition's been done. They're next Tuesday, they're gonna pour the concrete, start working on the air scour. They just have to wait for the under drains to be manufactured, so, we're doing great guns in there. We're still struggling with, and we'll work this out, with the MWBE issues with the state. They're always a challenge to, on these contracts, they have a certain percentage of contract subs that they have to have that are either minority or women-owned businesses. And it's challenging on this contract in particular because there's so many set-asides. So even though the contract was $2 million, almost $1 million of that was for the filters, which we pre-selected, and they're a sole source distributor. And, so we're just working through that with the folks up there, and we'll have it resolved by next week. Just have to go back and forth because it's kind of an iterative process. So we're doing okay.
So you say the demo's been done, they've actually gone into the,
4 filters are empty.
okay,
Completely
they're doing 8, how many filters?
They're going to do
Four at a
7
time?
filters. 7 filters have to be completely opened, emptied, under drains removed, concrete sandblasted out, and jackhammered out. Then new concrete put in as a base for the new under drains. That has to happen in 5 filters. The media is being changed in all the filters. So that has to be done. And the air scour has installed in the 9 of them, but the external piping to a blower hasn't been done. Our contract limits them to only having 4 filters for any purpose offline at a time. We have 16. And while the contract would love to just jump on all of them and get them all done, everybody in town would still like to have a drink and flush the toilet, and, you know, do all those things. They're limited to having 4 emptied at a time. And these contractors, they were very, very cooperative in that we had 4 of our worst underperforming filters, our poorest performers, and they weren't necessarily contiguous, but they didn't care. They said, well, jump from one to the other. They were really very, very good about that. So we should have these back online in a couple months. So the contract is moving and they're doing well. They seem to be easy to work with, cooperative, not disruptive to our operations, so it's pretty good.
Hallelujah. Okay, any questions on that? Okay, do I have a motion or?
No, no motion.
Oh,
It's just
yeah,
a follow-up.
what the hell am I thinking? Alrighty. 1B renovation, Cooper Lake improvement.
I don't have anything on there other than what the information I sent to everybody, if everybody's, you know, what's your time frame, what do you want to do in terms of when you want to make a decision on how to proceed. I don't have anything else to add on this. What we've already saddled you with.
DEC's not banging down our door.
No.
Okay.
So it doesn't have to be done this month. Absolutely not.
And do you know how many other water supplies in the state are in a similar position that we are with?
No.
Do you maybe make an inquiry through
Sure.
your?
Sure.
Because when I was reading through all that
Yeah.
regulatory impact statement and stuff,
Yeah.
I'm really surprised. I mean, I'd like to kind of figure out how many are impacted, because I have a feeling that a lot of municipalities are going to be greatly impacted. And at some point in time, when DC starts pushing the issue, because they haven't pushed the issue, because I'm assuming a lot of these,
No, they haven't, because, especially with us, because we've been in compliance with their timeframes.
yeah, we're like kind of way ahead of probably the rest of the dams.
My understanding, and I will confirm this, but in talking to the engineer from the DEC that we deal with, almost 50% of the high hazard dam owners haven't done much anyway. So they're focused on them, but eventually, you know, they're gonna get back to us. And I understand your point, so.
My point is that when they get to all the high hazard dams, especially municipalities,
There's gonna be some money.
and when they all start crying like we're crying about how much it's gonna cost, then finally the legislators will maybe, they'll start knocking on their doors, as opposed to us going and knocking on a door as one municipality or one person.
Sure. So you're interested in not how many high hazard dams there are, how many water supplies?
How many water supplies have dams
Okay.
that are probably gonna be,
All right,
either have been impacted or likely to be impacted
all right, I'll find out.
by these regulations, and what the costs associated with it would be.
Okay.
What are you thinking, Dennis, that there might be some easing of regulation or some?
Or
some-
Strength in numbers.
strength in numbers to get some financing
Some more
available,
financing from
as
other
opposed to
sources.
us going and knocking on the door of our local politicians at the state level, when all the municipalities go knocking on all the doors together and saying,
Yeah.
you know, this is gonna cost, you know, the municipalities $60–80 million, and you haven't, and no set-asides to pay for it.
Right.
I mean, we can go and ask Kevin Cahill or whoever, you know, to put in a member item or something, which we probably still should do, attempt it.
I think we're on to, the mayor's on to that.
But, you know, I was reading through some of the cost analysis stuff, and
Yeah, no,
if anything less, they're kind of disingenuous the way they wrote a lot of, well, it's for public safety, and so cost doesn't matter, and go talk, and the regulations were only to deal with the regulations and not the economic impact of it.
Right.
And so you need to go and address, through a legislative mandate or a budgetary process, paying for it, so.
Yeah.
And if our dam isn't a safety threat at this point in time,
No.
I don't see where we need to rush ahead of everybody else on this.
So is there an end date supposedly at this point? And it is?
No, we're-
I can't remember.
It's very, yes and no. When we submitted our engineering assessment, you had to supply with that a schedule. No one submits the schedule with the engineering assessment. You submit the engineering assessment, and then the DEC says, you forgot the schedule. Send us the schedule. So we did. So we have proposed a compliance schedule. They have not responded or commented on that. So we really don't
So there
have,
isn't a hard and fast
No.
end date.
so we,
Self-imposed,
well, it's not even self-imposed. It hasn't been approved.
right.
We have said we will have this done by 2017 or 18. They haven't said. Now, I will say, the reason that Peter leaves us largely alone is because we communicate with him on a regular basis. This is where we are, this is what we're doing, and he's been, pretty good at, but he's got, as you say, sooner or later, we're going to get there. So I will
They're
find that
fighting to get
information.
the other
Okay.
people
right.
halfway up to where we already are,
Could be.
so.
I'm
The dam
sure
is
you're
not a
right.
threat at this point in time. I don't see us spending money we don't have faster than
That's fine.
we can get it.
Is there a history for something like this being set down as a directive and then changing based on other municipalities feeling that they can't afford it? Do they change the
Right.
regulations? Do they find money? What's the history here?
You're the low fruit on the trees. I mean, we had this before when we had to deal with the Allan situation. They go after municipalities because they go, well, you can just pass this on to your public. But then we go after private dams, private owners of dams.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I can imagine that's gonna be a real fight.
Why are they picking on you? Because you have unlimited resources, supposedly. You can just go.
But they're not necessarily picking on us at this point
No,
in
they're
time.
not.
We're just,
They're not.
we're way ahead of, I think,
I don't mean you, but I mean municipalities.
yeah, and I'm not even sure that municipalities are, the rest of them are at the level we are.
I will find out. That information's got to be out. And I'll also see if we can get a sense through the Water Utility Council in the state to see if there's a sense from inside the utilities, who's facing this. I imagine Rochester's got to deal with it, the bigger utilities, the bigger authorities, Buffalo, because they're all surface supplies and they all have dams.
Mhm.
So I will reach out to them and find out what we're doing.
Okay, sounds pretty good. All right, treatment plant, wash tower.
So we haven't had a lot of snow, thank God, and the weather's been, up until maybe this coming Saturday, it's been pretty moderating, which has been a blessing. So I showed you the picture that actually the concrete is in for the tank and the piping has all been done, and we got word that the actual tank, the bowl part, is gonna be delivered the 21st of February. And so, depending on the weather, it could be welded together and painted by March.
Ooh.
Yeah. So.
Goal is efficiency, geez.
Well, I think the weather, most of the time, it doesn't work in your favor.
Yeah.
Knock on wood, so far this year it has. So that project should be drawing to a close. Looks kind of funny because you drive down and there's this big cylinder without paint on it, with a big open door. Nothing, it just looks kind of empty with nothing on top. So that's good.
Okay, we have any more questions on treatment plant tower? Okay. Rules and regulations update?
Everybody got a copy? I didn't get any feedback from anybody.
Yeah, I got a zillion questions.
Oh, it's okay.
So I'm thinking that, I don't know,
You wanna
either I
do
can
that?
meet with you separately or have
Yeah.
a work group or something, I don't know.
That's fine. That might save everybody some, we can, that works for me, if it works for everybody else, if we want to. The rules are, Dennis has got, he made a lot of notes and some suggestions. Do we want to form a a committee to work on that and then bring it back next month?
Sounds like a great idea.
Because or he can go through them one at a time now and.
No, I don't want to bore you with that.
No.
Probably couldn't even read half of my little scribbled notes on the side
That works for
too.
me.
So.
I had a quick question, just a curiosity question, that not having seen these before, and just gotten to
Same
through them, yeah.
Same ones are doing work.
Is it not, there you go, okay, maybe I didn't read them in
They never,
thoroughly,
how many years
ago?
They never showed them to me.
I bet they
They
did.
never showed them to me.
I'm just curious about the excavating, when you shut off and disconnect, why is that Well, is the only alternative is to do that by reopening, excavating again? It seems like it's a lot of, how often do we do it?
Do what?
Have to shut off, physically dig in and shut off a meter at the source, shut off not a meter, but disconnect the
service line?
service. Yeah, how often in a year do we do something like that?
I've been here 28 years, never,
Oh, okay.
never.
Okay, I was
Usually the
curious why.
threat of doing that is enough. Now,
Okay.
we certainly never shut off water for non-payment, because we can remove all unpaid water charged to a lien against property, so that never. It would just be for a gross violation of our rules and regulations.
Mhm.
It's never come to that, you know, we usually can,
I mean, if they have a massive leak someplace on their service line, it would,
we may come to this, yes, we have one, it's not a massive leak, but it's causing a problem. We have one that, the homeowner's cooperative, but, none of her plumbing works. So she hasn't maintained anything in her house, none of her shut-offs work, nothing. And so it may have to be, her plumber would have to do that, but to answer your, no, we don't do that. And I thought about, and I talked to Bill about that, I said, we've never done this, you know.
Yeah.
But I can't predict every circumstance, so you
Yeah.
want the ability to do that if you have to, you know.
Which explains why it was only, was it $35?
Exactly, yes, I mean, it's
It's $35?
one of my goals in this is to take out all of the fees that are called out by name, by a specific amount. And that'll, the board can adopt the fees every year for certain things, and they're always very reasonable. But rather than having to come back here and update the rules and regulations, because $35, I don't even think would, you know, doesn't even cover the cost of probably even the fuel that we use to do that, you know, at this point in time.
It just
But,
wasn't.
and I never really realized it, because we've never done it, that I'm aware of.
I don't remember doing it.
No, I never heard, you know, we have threatened people with it. We have, you know, spray painted the blue in the road. And I've even brought the backhoe on site, and all of a sudden, that engenders a lot of
the
cooperation.
plumber all of a sudden shows up and,
Well, most of the time it's for backflow. You know, it's businesses.
okay.
You know, I'm not getting my backflow test. Okay, well, I'm just gonna shut you off. Spray a little paint on there and bring the backhoe out. Next thing you know, he's coming to 3 o'clock, I'll have it, and you're like, okay, fine, thanks. That doesn't even happen much anymore.
So, your work group of one, or is there anybody else?
Yeah, if anybody want to join, you know, I know you
That'd
guys
be more than-
have a difficulty doing it during the day, but
Yeah, I wouldn't mind sitting down and going
Okay.
through them. Yeah,
I don't mind doing it in the evening.
whenever we can talk that one.
I'm normally available, you're the one who works full time.
Okay.
He's retired. He's trying to nicely tell you that he's retired.
I keep myself busy, but.
I have off Monday and Tuesday.
Tuesday afternoon? Because we're off Monday.
Yeah.
I'd like not to do it on Monday, but that's okay.
What time on Tuesday?
All right.
I have something on Tuesday in the morning.
I'm hopefully driving back from being out of town, so I'll be here by like 2 o'clock.
2 o'clock on Tuesday? Okay.
Does that work for you, Dwayne?
Yeah, I should.
Okay.
Let me just, I have to check with my daughter. She's coming into town. Just check on that.
Okay.
Okay. So that'll be Tuesday at 2 PM.
A reminder on my phone.
Yeah, I just want to make sure. We can send you an email if you want a reminder.
I'll do the reminder too.
Alrighty. Correspondence?
I sent you the email from the lady on the boulevard, the landlord on the boulevard, who took 3 months to fix, 2 months to fix something, doesn't want to be fined.
Uh,
I think I put a note on there about extenuating circumstances were and why we took the, I mean, she said she didn't get it because she was away.
Yeah.
Meantime, we, the service froze, we had to go out, so we've expended money on overtime. That's the only correspondence I have.
All right.
This is the one where you put temporary water service,
Yeah, we hooked him up with the hoses house to house.
then it froze.
Yeah.
Of course, and I have to say, the neighbor that was generous enough to allow us to hook into his service, he used to be the city's electrical inspector, so he's, fairly handy and, did a really good job at protecting it from freezing by, disconnecting it when he knew it was gonna be extremely cold and that kind of thing, but, we did have to go out once because the hoses blew.
So when was it actually completed? The date of this?
Yeah, they actually completed it the 20, he said the first date, let me see. February 1st. February 1st. So we fixed it on that, we
Shut the service off,
on the 23rd of December.
okay. And we gave them until,
I gave her until, because of the holiday, I gave her until, I believe I gave her until the 13th.
13.
Yep. Just because, the holidays were there. They were out of town, didn't get back till the 15th, didn't start looking until the 25th,
okay.
so.
And do you send these by registered mail or?
Been advised by bill, they don't have to, we send them to the address where they receive their bills, and we have a record, if any bill comes back to us, we note that. And so these bills have been received, and so we don't have to send them registered, is that correct?
You don't have to know.
Okay.
So we did
And
not.
obviously they didn't come back.
No, she acknowledged that she got it,
Okay.
yeah. She just wasn't there to receive it. So, it was a difficult job.
So, you're just gonna record, you're gonna
Well,
respond back?
what she's doing is she's asking you to rescind the fine.
Yeah, but that's not,
That's what she's asking you to do, and that's why it's part of your correspondence.
So it's $50 a day.
Well, we only charged her $50 once. I mean, we only charged her,
so it wasn't $50 a day, it was $50.
No, it was just
One
$50.
$50
yes.
fine.
Yes. We could charge her up to $50 a day, but I don't believe that we did. And Jane just, we have some heart. We do it to get people's attention. $50 a day is a little steep, I would think. And it was an expensive repair, because she had a tunnel under the boulevard, which is a concrete road, and a DOT road, so. And they had to pull the service, but. So, that's up to you what you guys do.
So it's a $50 fine relative to what did it cost in our manpower?
We probably had, 4 or 5 hours worth of overtime on there?
I don't recall, but I don't recall any more than that.
Right, it wasn't excessive. I mean, the day we actually turned it off, it was a very long day. But, but after that, we responded. We had to go out on overtime when the lieutenants were home that evening, so it probably took 2 hours for us to, it was difficult because their backyards kind of slope off back toward the jail. So, and it was, my recollection is it was raining that night, really bad. And so the guys had to go out there and hook that up kind of on the hillside. And then so that was 2 guys on a 2-hour call out, that's 4 hours. And then we probably had another hour when it froze. Probably 5 hours altogether. And the average, it's about $25 an hour, you would say, Al? For overtime?
Time and a half would be about 37.
37
37.
times 5. So we got more than $50 into it.
Yeah.
Did we communicate with them any time? I mean, obviously the water was turned off on the 23rd of December.
And we hooked them up house to house that night.
Okay.
Have to have somebody home in both places to do that.
Right. So this is not a owner
No.
occupied home, it's a tenant.
Always is. Always
I mean,
is.
So the first time that they were aware of it was well,
No, my understanding was that the tenant left a message for the landlord.
yeah, I would assume that
They
I'm the
did.
tenant and my water's getting turned off, even though I got a hose hooked up to the neighbor, that I would call.
They did. The tenants were pretty cooperative. They were there the whole time we were working. We explained to them what the procedure was. In fact, I asked them to make sure that I would contact the landlord if they needed to do that as well, to speed up the process. They agreed to do that. Whether they did that or not, I don't know.
And is there a reasonable delay between turning it off on the 23rd and the letter not going out?
To the 4th of January?
4th? Yeah.
Yeah. It's called Christmas. I was off.
Generally, I assume the letter would go out.
Which is why we gave her the time till the 13th. If we had notified her on the 23rd, I would have said, have it fixed by January 2nd. I also knew it was going to be very difficult to get plumbers to work between then and January. I mean, they're busy and they need time off too. So. That was the delay.
Okay, so we have to make a decision if we're gonna
Waive it or not.
accept it or not. Okay.
And she's aware it's 50, not 50 a day?
Yeah. I mean, now it's $50. we bought it.
$50.
Yeah.
Yeah, not that- I know. Yeah.
Shaking.
Well, the letter says you will be incurring a fine of $50 per day as per department rules.
Right, I said she could be, but we didn't do that. We put a one-time $50 charge.
Okay.
So she's gotten that, she's gotten an invoice, in other words, already?
I believe she ought to bill, yeah, I believe so. When was that's on 1B up there, Al?
Yes.
And so they've already been billed, so she would have had that. So, yeah.
And she's aware that the regulations say that it could be up to $50 a day.
Which is why I stated.
Well, that's actually in the letter that she got,
Right, and-
that was sent out.
I mean, Jane spoke to her on the phone, and I wasn't here, and I don't exactly know what Jane said, but I'm sure that she did make that, Jane's pretty good at it. Huh?
It's in the letter. $50
Right.
Right, but that's why she may have written back the email on February 3rd saying, I don't want to be fined $50 a day.
Okay, right.
So, I mean, can we somehow communicate back with her that it's only $50? I mean,
I certainly
we
can.
heard back from her.
Yeah.
It's only $50.
It
Right.
might just be a misunderstanding and that.
The board is not going to
She might
waive
consider
the
it
$50 fine.
Okay, I can certainly do that.
I'll make a motion. You need a
Okay.
motion for
And
that.
then we'll clarify that. Sure,
Yes,
sure,
motion made,
We
second.
need a motion for that?
You should.
Okay.
sure. That's fine.
We have a
I'll make a
second.
motion to
Okay.
communicate with her to confirm that it's $50 period, not $50 a day, and that the fine will not be waived.
Okay, that's fine, thank you.
Okay.
That's all.
Motion
I'll
made,
second.
second, that she be fined $50 and that'll be it. She must pay the $50. Okay,
Vote.
we're gonna vote. Everybody in favor?
Yes,
Aye.
Opposed? Okay,
seems like a good solution.
yeah.
Okay.
Find somebody 50, I mean, it'd have to be incredibly egregious to find somebody $50.
Okay. Anything else on that?
No.
We're all done on that subject. Okay, superintendent's report, read and filed.
You have something?
Well, not on the agenda, but I have something to say.
I didn't know.
Did you? I didn't either. Okay.
Huh?
Dennis?
No, no, I have no comments or issues. So,
Okay.
Move set with the
Move to
superintendent's
accept.
report.
Move to
Move
file.
to accept.
move to accept and file.
Ready?
Second.
Second. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Alrighty, now we're gonna move into executive session.
Well, was,
Mr. Quigley,
Oh,
I
Mr. Quigley.
just heard you say you'd like to say something.
Would.
I always have something to say.
Oh, I didn't think you'd just come over to say hello. Good.
In the summer of last year, representatives of the town of Ulster Town Board and our water department administration had a meeting with representatives of the Kingston Water Board and the administration to discuss long-term strategic issues as it impacted both systems. And as we all know, shortly thereafter, Mr. Garrigan passed away. I'm here tonight to ask that you give consideration that we reestablish those forums so that we can continue to discuss, in particular, the City of Kingston Water Department's long-term capital plans and how they're going to impact the town of Ulster rate base. I'm going to reiterate, I never met you, but I'm Jim Quigley, Supervisor of the town of Ulster. Last year, based upon published information on the Kingston Water Department website, I did a 5-year projection for the Ulster water districts, and we ended up with a 51% water rate increase because of a combination of the capital improvements that will be made in this, in the city, and then getting passed through to the town of Ulster water costs under the contract that we have with the city, and then our own capital improvements, which we are required to undertake, and our own escalations. So I found that the dialogue that we had last year was very productive. It was a start. Unfortunately, it was cut short. We have made, through cooperative efforts, some modifications to our operating policies, and I thank you for that. That will provide, hopefully, some flexibility in our operations. But we need to take these discussions further so that you're aware of situations that are ongoing in the town, and we're aware of the situations that are ongoing with the capital improvement plan that you have. And just to give you an idea of what we're looking at right now, on the Tech City campus, building 025, which is the building on the corner of Boyce's Lane and Enterprise Drive, which was a 400,000 square foot office building, and I say was because it's gone now. I had a conference call with Mr. Ginsberg this morning. He has indicated to me that there are other buildings on the east campus that he intends on taking down, including the central utility plant. And he has indicated to me that if the marketing efforts on the Bank of America building on the west campus are unsuccessful, that building will be down by the end of the year. And he did indicate to me in those discussions issues as it relates to the City of Kingston supplying water to the facility under its exclusive rights, and asked me to see what I could do. I said, I'm not touching that. You have a deeded obligation, and it has been reinforced by the terminology that it was added to the 2004 supply contract. That is entirely a negotiation between you and the Kingston Water Department. But what I'm afraid of is that we get to a point where there is a redevelopment, we get into another situation like there is with Niagara. You can't supply, we can't supply, consequently, we're going to end up with a cornfield or tree farm or something that has minimum water use and no tax base. And that's not going to be beneficial to anybody in the collective communities. So if you guys can take and talk about it at some point in an executive session in the next couple of months, and we'll figure on having, Judy and I can talk about laying it out sometime in May, because there is going to be some preparation that's going to need to be undertaken for these meetings. The updated, the published capital plan on the website and other public information that usually is released during the course of the year would be helpful for the town to understand where the city water department's going.
It'll be there, it's just, it's going to be there.
I know it does. I know it does. That's why I'm not pushing.
No, I just, yeah.
So,
I'm not fixing brakes now, so I don't have as much time as I used to. But we'll get it done.
I noticed your hands were a little rough.
Yeah.
I'll be more than happy to answer any questions as to how things are going with us, if you have anything.
You're helping us find, look for a leak tomorrow.
Good.
Absolutely. I mean, the meeting last time went very well.
Yeah,
It was you, Bob,
well, able.
and Abel, the three commissioners.
And Judy, I'm going to throw this out, this is just a brainstorming idea. I mean, the town is faced with a $3.5 million price for rebuilding the south tower by the highway complex, which is at the approximately same elevation as Florence Street.
We talked about this before.
I don't know if there is a way that we can have a discussion about avoided cost and additional interconnections to take advantage of the pressure coming off of Florence Street and the storage capacity. I know that brings in the issue, the flow rates that we've talked about many times on fire flows, but we're facing $3.5 million worth of capital expenditures, and Mr. Noble and I have had many conversations.
And that's really, we need to bring your engineer and our engineer in on that discussion for the hydraulics. We have a hydraulic model that we can have run and do the analysis, and I believe B&L has one for you guys.
Right.
So
I mean, if there is any interest, I just threw that out now, and that was just something that came to mind in the spirit of the conversations that Mayor Noble and I have had over the last couple of weeks about different areas where the city and the town can work together to share services and save costs.
Yes, and I owe the mayor an email to outline what we're already doing and some ideas. I have it, I just haven't gotten the email together. I'll give it to you more.
That's my 2 cents worth. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Jim.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay. Anything else?
No.
No? So now, executive session.
I have some legal things to bring in the executive session. We have a claim that was filed. I want to discuss that with the board.
Sure.
I have nothing. I need to go have some stuff.
Okey dokey.
Move to go into executive
Move
session.
to go into executive session.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any objection? No? Okay, carried.